Leslie, you talked a little bit about your scene with William in the jail. Talk about that scene in particular. What was the preparation? I imagine you guys didn't give each other a hug after that scene. Was that difficult for you guys to do?
Damn easy.
There weren't a lot of hugs. I have to admit. There was the hug up against the wall, but that was a different scene.
There was some thrusting involved.
Yeah. Well, the scene, I guess I sort of imagined you when I was working on the scene and learning the scene, because I knew you were playing the part. And so I figured if I did nothing other than react, I would probably be fine, because you're wonderful and marvelous. And a lot of it was my baiting you, but it was because, you know, I was looking at you as a total enemy, and I wasn't going to give you what you wanted. So it was not only the character and the characters working together, it was knowing the kind of work I might have an opportunity to do. I mean, having done, you know, my years on Laverne and Shirley and Police Academy and all the rest of it, and on film, I really hadn't had a chance to do something nearly this dramatic. So it was just truly breathing and living the material. And there weren't a lot of hugs. I don't know if a lot of people know that the murder, the death scene, I call it a murder, was really written by, wasn't it written by you and Rob? Yeah. During lunch? I mean, after the interrogation scene. And I couldn't take off my chains. Nobody wanted to work hard enough to take them off so I could eat lunch. So they sat me on the floor in a different cell with that old tray. You know, that tray that's in the movie, in the back of the, you know, on the floor? That was my lunch. And I had 20 minutes to eat it. I was in chains. I was already, my neck from being, you know, pushed back in the thing and the whole thing was exhausted. And Rob comes in with the scene and it's handwritten. This whole scene. Basically, it was Mother Firefly sitting in the cell saying, "Where's my fucking food?" And you walking in and just shivving me in the back of the neck. That was all I thought the next scene was, just dying. And there was this long scene that the two of you had written. And so there were a lot of psychic hugs when we did that scene, because we didn't know from line to line if we would remember what the lines were.
Well, it was all based on James Brown's Sex Machine.
Yeah, I guess it was. In my head, it was just sort of survival, but you know, that would be the whole thing. But that was that. And then once, and I had a blood pack that was on, and they had like 4 cameras, right? So we knew we got one shot at this once we stood up and got against the wall. That was it. And then I was so numb with your belt buckle was pushing against my belly. My hands were chained. I couldn't tell if you stabbed me or not. So I was waiting for you to kiss me. That would have been cool. The French one before we, you know. I'm waiting, I don't know. The kiss was my cue that I was going to get killed. All of a sudden, the blood's running down my legs, and I realize I'm dead. Okay, you give me a peck on the cheek, and I'm standing there just like overacting, going, but you know, it was great fun.
Oh, you died like a good old hoe. Come on.
That may be the nicest compliment I've ever gotten. Anyways, a long answer, sorry.
So Dave, you're primarily known for comedies. Talk about the transition to, as an actor, to such a serious role in such a dark film.
Well, you know, Dobson obviously is still a comedic. In this role, he's the levity, you know, of the thing to the sheriff. So it wasn't all that much so serious. What I do like about The Devil's Rejects, just in terms of that, like she was talking about Police Academy or PJ and her comedies and stuff. This film really set the table for what was happening on cable, you know, 10 years later, where you have like Breaking Bad and they'll have Bryan Cranston and Bob Odenkirk in serious roles and stuff like that. Rob really saw that kind of stuff coming, saying, I know that comedic people can play serious roles. So, but my role of Dobson, he's a little bit of a goofball still, you know, so it wasn't 100% into the thing, but I had a great time doing it and working with the cast.
No, you were in a scene that was cut.
I was. Was that loud? I think
Shit on that one. Who shit on that one?
I wish there was some major residuals coming in because of that scene getting cut.
Talk about filming that. If you could.
That was a great scene. You know, Rosario Dawson's in that scene. Has everyone seen that scene?
Yep.
Who hasn't seen the scene? Who has seen the scene? Wait a second. Hold on. Everyone that's seen the scene, clap. You wonder how Hitler did it. But yeah, no, that was a great scene. We made up the REO Speedwagon dating thing. MC's in that scene. It was great. The blood, and that was another one take. We had one take, because that was the moment her prosthetic was put on her neck, and it was ripped off, and it was just a floor of blood. There's no reset. So I wish that scene was in the thing, but Dr. Satan didn't make the movie.
Yeah, Dr. C.
And as a comment to that, with all the blood and everything, there were comments on the internet. People were pissed off because it wasn't bloody enough film. And I saw Wayne Toth, the special effects guy, load 6 5-gallon drums of blood in his truck. We had 30 goddamn gallons of blood ain't enough for you. What the fuck? You're sicker than I am.
Nowadays, by the way, there's not a lot of real blood used in horror movies now because of the reset time it takes. A lot of that stuff is CG, and so this is a legit film with real blood. You know? So real blood, real blood. This is real pig blood. That's 30 gallons of pig blood ordered from Bakersfield, California.
Michael, your scene was one of my favorite scenes in the film, and certainly one of the funniest, I think. What was it like working with Ken and Michael? And was that entire scene scripted? Did you guys go off the cuff a little bit? How'd that work?
Well, I've never met any of the people before. Just let y'all know, I'm a comedian. I do stand up for a living. Been doing it for 16 years, and I moved out to LA to, fulfill some acting, comedian thing, and I got picked for the part. And I read for one part, didn't get it, and then Rob came up with this scene, and I come out there, we're reading for it. Reading it that day, and he said, "Look, you're a comedian. Just do what you think is funny." Well, my dad told me when he was younger, they used to cut the chicken's head off, and it would run around the yard and run into shit. And my brother, he's a redneck, and I know he would probably fuck a chicken. Because I'm not fucking the chicken, literally, but I have thought about fucking the chicken. So, right. But when you fuck that chicken, that motherfucker, and when I did it, it was crazy because they were in like a little tent back there, taping and everything. And I heard them in the tent laughing. Now I'm gonna tell you something as a comedian, and I think he can tell you this. When they said cut, it's a wrap, I was like, okay. Really, I thought that was,
Where is that chicken?
yeah. I just thought it was not that, great. I didn't know how that went. And then here you go. It's a blessing, you know what I mean? So thanks to all of y'all making that part what it is today. Without y'all, man, this shit is not worthy. So God bless you, thank you, man.
You saved the lives of thousands of chickens.
That's right.
Chickens. And if you know any chicken that is currently getting fucked, please report it.
Long Island Red.
However, they might have been able to lay bigger eggs.
Yeah, nobody wants to fry it up after either.
I don't know, look at Colonel Sanders, man.
Double yogurt, double yogurt.
So now we know what makes the Kentucky Fried Chicken work.
Yeah, that's why it's extra crispy.
Finger licking good.
Now, William, how were you approached to be in the film, and also, did you model your character after anybody?
The first time I met Rob was on the phone, we ended up having, I want to say it was close to a 2-hour conversation. Rob called me up and he said that he was interested in me maybe to play the part in the movie, and he just wanted to rap. So we got into a conversation about all the great hardcore guys from the good old films. We started talking about Lee Marvin. We started talking about Robert Shaw. We started talking about the real men, you know, that were in movies, and how much, you know, that was really who this guy had to be. But the funny part was, he offered me the part on the phone, and I ended up in LA about a couple weeks later, and his office was in a building that used to be a Great Western Bank. And this bank, in front of it, had a huge statue of John Wayne. I mean, it's huge. He's up on a horse, and I'm up there looking at it, and I'm going, holy shit, that's him. You know, so I called Rob up in the office, and I go, come on down. Yeah, he comes down the stairs, and we met underneath John Wayne, and I looked up at that statue, and I go, that's who the fuck he thinks he is. You know, and that's really kind of where it was born. Well,
That building is now owned by Larry Flint, by the way.
Well, I know that it was owned by that.
Now that statue is a giant dick.
Giant horse dick.
As fucked up as the Firefly plan was, The Devil's Rejects, we really cheered for you guys as opposed to William's character, who was the bad guy. How was that that dichotomy, the switch there, for as deplorable as the Firefly clan things do against William in the film?
Well, I think the whole switch happened in the ice cream eating scene, because everybody in the audience was saying to themselves, you know what? My family would argue about ice cream. And at that point, we became a part of your family. That's just my crazy, fucked up feeling about it. You know?
Hey, there ain't no ice cream in your fucking future.
I think I'm gonna have me some Tutti fucking Fruity.
The real genius, I think, of the film, what really makes it interesting is that you're following what appears to be, you know, this officer who's out to get these guys, and suddenly Rob's genius, within 3 scenes, it all turns around. And one of the scenes, Rob let me improv, the one in the mirror, and I told Rob, I said, that the hat comes off. So whenever anything bad happens, that white hat comes off. And we have that scene in the mirror. It starts with Tom Tolles, the scene with the brother, and it goes to that, and suddenly this weird transition happens, and it is really genius, really, how it worked, you know. Of course, in my film, these motherfuckers would still be hanging on the hook.
Now, in that scene, okay, I actually recorded Tom Tolles' first line. So what you hear, what you see is the back of a bald head, okay, but it's my voice, and then it comes around on top.
Yeah. And then Wydell is like, you know, who's the, you know, the big macho man the whole movie. I'm sorry, man. I'm trying to walk the line, brother. Sibling relationship.